I'm Richard Foerster. I live in Eliot, Maine. This poem is called The Clearing. Always in that clearing, the oaks are black with crows, and I can't be certain my presence starts it, but something catches like a fuse, and the branches seethe until the air grows raucous with calling crows. First one, then another, now all stretch into brief grace, then oar up into a spiraling choir, into such teasing synchroneity, just approaching, then skirting a pattern. Far below and minuscule, under that disarming blue circle of light, I watch them, charred bits in a whirlwind of logic, beyond grasp of cause or destiny, beyond delight or grief. Their flight, I tell myself, has nothing to do with me, and that widening echo, even when it falls together a moment, orchestral, has nothing to do with me, though it sounds at times fearsome and something like a name. This poem is called Springtide, and I wrote it when I was living in York, Maine. 10 eel-necked cormorants journeying somewhere north rest on the rock's last knuckle that points from this cove out toward the indefinable line. There, a beacon, bleared by thin fog, searches the evening's depths beyond Boone Island. The sea lies flat as rippled slate. One could think of walking out on it, except that the imperceptible heaving cracks into whiteness at the cormorant's feet. Suddenly, I am caught up in the hush of ritual. The birds splay their ancient wings to the tentative air, hold them, poised and priestly, as if inviting a necessary prayer. There's such trembling in this waiting for a sign. But the moment passes, and the birds bend their awkward bills to preening. The light grows dim. The wheel-eyed beacon stares and turns. What could I recite if now, on the verge of losing sight of them and wanting home, they'd assume their singular grace and fly? This poem is called Bucolic with Thistles. It seemed unnaturally late in October for such wind-whipped flames. Goldfinches at the roadside, still molten in their breeding plumage, the males buttery and black against cloud-swept gray and prickling air. Where I'd parked to wait out a squall, I was close enough to see their tongues at work, assiduously prying at thistles that spiked the abandoned field. A waste of effort, I thought. Nothing but tears where wheat had never been, just stabs of icy rain and those summery hot coals of yearning for whatever might be teased from deep within the thorns. But I sat there, even after the idling engines stuttered me back to awareness the storm had eased. I'd no schedule to keep, no one waiting. The road stretched to every place I'd been hell-bent driving from. And yet, how relentless desire can be. The need to find and want some pathway to unwanting. To prize a stubborn seed of transcendence out from the fibrous core of one's own being. In that quiet, I could hear the finches, each chittering an alien gospel of a kingdom come. A dissonance rising on tiny pyroclastic waves into one atonal choir. 100 or more feathered candles flamed atop those spiny heads. Such raucous burning. What did I sense then, if not the barb of what I thought was happiness? I'd go to the botanical gardens in the Bronx Park all by myself, and on the way I'd stop at the A&P and buy a bag of peanuts and sit along the Bronx River and feed the birds. And in fact, in my chapter, I have a poem called St. Francis Distracted by Birds. So there I'd be, and it was solace. And the challenge to identify them, I'd go to the local library and get out the bird books. And it was such a consolation to me to be with the birds. They're my guardian angels, I'd say.